Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to become flexible while also walking up this ski slope. So when we get to the top of this hill, I'm going to show you 4 stretches that I think you can start with if you're a beginner, that are really simple and help a lot with basic flexibility. And these are stretches that I do every day because they're so easy and simple to do. So I hope you will find those interesting later. But right now the ground is not really stretch friendly. So I'm going to start by telling you another flexibility tip, which is consistency. And I'm sure you've heard this about a million times before, but consistency is the most important thing when it comes to becoming flexible. And the thing I really want to tell you here is that it is okay to just do a 5 or 10 minute stretching routine every day if that's what you have time for and if that's what you feel like doing, because as long as you stay consistent and do that routine every day, that is what will get you flexible. It is not about how long you stretch for, it's really more about consistency. And then again, of course, if you do a 1 hour stretching routine every day, maybe that will get you more flexible compared to with doing 5 minutes every day. But what I'm saying is that 5 minutes is definitely enough if you want to just get into a stretching routine that will get you more flexible over time. So just remember that throughout this video, consistency is the important part here. It is probably the most important thing. So the first step to becoming flexible is basically just to take a few minutes out of your day and dedicate those minutes to becoming flexible and stretching. And then you will have a really good foundation to continue developing your flexibility. But now let's continue walking. Another thing that can be useful is to have a specific goal, because if you're not working towards any specific skill, it can first of all feel a little bit more boring to actually stretch because you're not really working towards anything specific. So for example, a lot of people want to get the splits, and that's kind of why they start stretching. I'm sure you've seen a lot of YouTube videos that are oh, can I get the splits in 30 days and stuff like that. And that's actually good to have a specific flexibility goal, because then chances are you'll be working more actively towards it. For example, I always have a new skill or a new flexibility pose that I'm working towards, because I think it makes it a lot more fun to actually stretch. And when you have a specific flexibility goal like this, make sure that you every day try to go into the skill. If you're working towards the splits, the thing you need to do, and the thing that will actually get to you the splits, is to consistently try going into them, because you can do all these splits related stretches, which will obviously help you with the flexibility for the splits. But the important thing is also to try the splits every day, even if they look don't do the splits in this kind of terrain because it doesn't work. But your splits can look like this, and you just need to continue going into them every day, because eventually they will look like this. I'm not going to go into full splits on this ground. Let's continue walking. The next thing is to do stretches that you actually feel good while doing. Don't do anything that your body kind of hates, because all of our bodies are different when it comes to stretching. So if there's any specific stretch that you feel hurts your body, for example, there's a fly. You just don't have to do that one. For example, if the splits really, really hurt your body, maybe you should focus on back flexibility instead. And maybe your goal should be to get a bridge instead, because stretching done wrong is obviously not good. So make sure that you just find some stretches that feel good when you do them. They should obviously feel a little bit challenging, but they shouldn't hurt, is the point. And as I said, I'm going to show you some of my favorite stretches when we get to the top, which we are maybe more than halfway. I really don't know. Those stretches that I'm going to show you are hopefully kind of basic, and everyone should be able to do them without it hurting. So hopefully that can be a starting point for you if you're not sure which stretches to do. Okay, we are finally at the top. Doesn't really look that steep at all actually, but it was pretty exhausting. So to some of my favorite stretches. Now this first one is the lunge, which I'm sure most of you have probably done at some point already. It's a very easy stretch to get into. You can kind of adjust how deep you go very easily, so it's very good for beginners, and it's also very good for split flexibility specifically. If you're working towards the splits, it's maybe the most important stretch. But also along with this one, the pyramid stretch that I've started doing recently, which is also very good for split flexibility actually. It's also a pretty simple stretch. You just have to try to keep your legs as straight as possible and you will feel a really good stretch from this one. And I also thought I would tell you about a stretch that can be good for your back if you're having trouble with finding good back stretches, because that is actually something I am not very good at. I don't stretch my back as much as I should, but this stretch is, I think, a very simple stretch if you want to feel a really good stretch in your back. I've said stretch about 5 times. And here you basically just go on your knees and then grab onto your heels and then just kind of try to lean back. This one you can also kind of adjust how deep you go and how advanced you go. But I think this one is very good for back flexibility. And another stretch that I thought I'd just throw in here because I think it's one of the more simple stretches is the downward dog. This one's very good because it kind of really straightens out your back, which is great for flexibility, and you can also feel it in your legs a little bit. So it's kind of like a full body stretch, which is kind of hard to find, I feel like, but the downward dog is one of my favorite stretches because if you just want to do a super quick stretch that will help your entire body, there's not many options, but the downward dog is kind of one of those, especially if you do the 3-legged downward dog, which is a little bit more of an advanced stretch, I would say, but it's also just, it feels very nice for the entire body. And now I guess it is time for me to go down the mountain. So as kind of a conclusion, I think the most simple way to start stretching and become flexible is to, first of all, find a few stretches that you enjoy doing. Start doing them for 5 or 10 minutes every day, just to kind of build a routine. And then also find some kind of specific skill or goal that you want to work towards and start practicing that every day. I also want to add that there are so many stretches that you can do. I just showed you 4 stretches today, but there are probably thousands of stretches that you can actually do. Maybe you can even come up with a new stretch, probably. So just go online, search up some stretches that you enjoy doing. I mean, I have a lot of videos about stretching if you want to find some inspiration, but good luck with starting your flexibility journey. And thank you so much for watching this video.